Hello and welcome to the top 10 most popular speed characters as chosen by you guys, the BBS community. Before I get started, there is currently a poll for the top 10 most popular tech characters, on which I will have a top 10 list next week. The poll is linked in the description below, and I urge you guys to please go vote on that, so please pause this and vote, or wait till the end of the video and vote. With that said, here are the most popular speed characters. Kicking off the list is Halloween Orihime, who is either on here because she's dressed as a zombie bride, or because she is actually a really good character. She's got a human affiliation, meaning there's no killers that are good against her, and she's got weakening on everything, as well as debilitator. She's got a really high SP, frenzy, and a strong attack recharge link. And this is actually a great combination. Having a strong attack recharge link and a frenzy debuild weakening on everything greatly increases your chance of inflicting that weakening, which not only lowers the defense of the enemy but also makes their damage output 0. On top of all that, her strong attack 3 is a charge move that both increases in range and damage when fully charged. Orihime also has an Arankar killer, which in combination with the human affiliation makes her really good for taking on inheritance zones as well as droplet zones. When creating the list, I was pretty sure we were gonna end up seeing her sooner or later.
まだ大人の味には早かったかな。少し甘くしてやろう。
Coming in at number 9 is yet another seasonal character, Yoruichi Shihoin, Valentine's Day Edition, or Cacao Society Edition, whichever you prefer. As you all know, it's a proven fact that this world becomes an infinitely better place when BBS adds a new Yoruichi. It's an indisputable law of nature. And although this Yoruichi doesn't have long stride like some of the others, she is still really good. She has a really high SP and frenzy, and has a strong attack damage link. She can also inflict paralysis on her strong attack 3 and her special, and she has debilitator. Like the other Yoruichis, she also has extra flash steps, which make her really good for clearing out quests. Though granted, not as good as the ones with the extra flash steps and long strike, but still the extra speed helps. I would even go as far as saying that she's a really good character for guild quests, but the range on her strong attacks isn't the best. Still pretty good, but not as good as some of the other characters. Yoruichi also has a pretty good attack for someone who has that high of an SP, and she has a holo killer, which we seem to be getting a lot of lately. Coming in at number 8 on the list is the past version of Lisa Yadomaru, who I totally get why she's on this list, as her popularity kinda skyrocketed with the appearance of guild quests. This is because she has a crawling vortex, which as you all know, is super useful when it comes to scoring in guild quests. She also has a strong attack recharge link, which makes this crawling vortex better because you can use it more often. Not only that, but she also has an impressively high SP, as well as frenzy, and she can inflict debilitating paralysis on her strong attack 1 and her normal attack, which are both ranged. This makes her really good in any kind of PvE, whether it is guild quests or just standard co-op raids. Each of these traits, as well as her holo killer, make her really good in PvE, but not so much in PvP, as PvP enemies don't typically get sucked up in vortexes, and ranged characters don't do so well in an enclosed box. I can definitely see why people chose her as their favorite character. Next on the list is Toshiro Hitsugaya Diamond Dust Rebellion Edition, who is arguably one of the more useful movie characters to come out. Toshiro has a really high SP as well as frenzy, and can inflict debilitating freezing on everything he does. This makes the frenzy even more useful. Toshiro also has a Soul Reaper killer, which is actually one of the more useful things about him. This is because we only have about 5 relevant speed characters with a Soul Reaper killer, and the only other ranged one is Sun, so this is a huge win. Toshiro also has a charge move strong attack 3, which doubles in strength when fully charged, and a strong attack 1 that hits a bunch of times, greatly increasing the chance of inflicting freezing, as well as rapidly increasing the combo for things like guild quests, which he's not a bad character for because of that strong attack 1 and 3, but unfortunately his special has very poor range. And range is really the only major downside for this character, not just in his special but in some of his strong attacks too. Still, Toshiro is a very popular captain, and I know he's a favorite amongst a lot of people, so I can absolutely see why he made it on this list, especially when you factor in the fact that he replaces his captain cloak for a cool Jedi one.
俺たちの力の源はいわば怨念。
Speaking of movie characters that are also speed and have a story per killer, Kokuto takes the number 6 spot on the list. He is also one of few speed characters with a story per killer, and in general one of the best speed characters we have right now. Discount Kakashi over here has no affiliation, meaning there are no killers good against him, so you can take him in things such as droplet zones or inherited zones, where getting hit once won't mean the end of the world. Kokuto is also in a 3-way tie for the highest SP for a blue character, along with Toshiro before him, and he has Frenzy, which not only increases his damage output, but also increases the chance of him landing debilitating weakening on his strong attack 3, which is a pretty cool looking strong attack 3. It's also very useful. It may not be full screen, but it kinda doubles as a vortex move, sucking every enemy in before hitting with the final blow. It's also good for positioning your enemies for follow-up strong attacks or normal attacks, which are actually not bad for this character, seeing as he has a decent attack for a character with such a high SP. Finally, Kokuto also has a really good special that is full screen and inflicts paralysis, and since he has Debilitator, that paralysis is there to stay. Many people wanted this character when he first came out, and he is personally my favorite movie character, so it's no surprise to see him on this list.
どいつもこいつもトロトロしやがって行くぜ
Now, I know what some of you might have been thinking so far. Most of the characters on this list have been fairly new characters. One of them is even less than a month old. So it was kind of refreshing to see that this guy made it on the list, especially since a lot of us have terrible memories of him. But Kenpachi is a very special character, as he's over a year old at this point and still very relevant, and for very good reason. That reason is the Spada Killer, which we can all agree is the best thing to ever happen to this game. Okay, I'm obviously kidding, though I do hope the Spada Killer becomes relevant again. The real reason is pretty much everything else about this character. He's got a decent attack as well as a pretty good defense. He's also got damage reduction, he's got poise, he has flurry, and he has a strong attack too that's a boost move, which all make for a pretty frightening character, as he can boost his own attack to over 800, and then proceeds to do double damage with his normal attack, and is unable to be interrupted. As we all know, this makes him great in PvP, but it also makes him pretty good in PvE. You know he's already going to deal a lot of damage, you know he can't be killed, and his boost move not only helps you, but also increases the attack, defense, and focus of the rest of the team, if only for a short burst at a time, making him really useful if you want to use him manually, or if you choose to auto with him. But he does have his downsides, for example his killer, as well as the lack of flash steps, making him kind of slower than all the other characters. But I guess something's gotta give. Still, I can see why this character has a place in a lot of people's hearts, as a lot of people struggled to get him, and once they had him, he proved to be quite useful.
見せてやるぜ俺の力のすべてをこの一振りで型をつける月牙転生
At number 4 on the list, we have Ichigo Kurosaki Anniversary Edition, which came out almost a year ago at this point. But out of all the other characters on this list, I definitely get this one, as I remember the hype for this character so well. This is because nobody really knew if we were going to get another chance to get this character, because KLab didn't really bother to specify. Still, it's a great character, who has a really high SP and Frenzy. He also has a boosted strong attack damage link, which makes that Frenzy even better, as the boost also gets doubled. His attack may not be that high, but he does have a plus 40 bruiser, and it is ranged. This character also has decent strong attacks with pretty good range, and a strong attack 3 that's a charge move. He was actually the first charge move character that we got, and it packs quite a punch. Building this character correctly, his strong attack 3 actually does more damage than his special, which is very nice because you'd be able to use it every 24 seconds. I'm not surprised that this character made it on the list, though I am quite curious as to why. Was it because he's the main character? Or maybe just because he looks friggin' awesome? He may have only appeared for about 2 seconds in the anime, but I for one am glad that they made this guy a character.
一瞬で終わらせてやる無月
And I thought Kenpachi was an older character, but this guy takes the cake. Dangai Ichigo came out a very long time ago, to the point where it's amazing that he made it at number 3 on the list. Seriously, I was impressed to see how many people voted for this guy. And if I'm being honest, I actually didn't expect it. But it does totally make sense, as the rules clearly specify that you choose your favorite character, whether they're old, new, good or not. And while this character is really old, he is actually still very good. Sure, he's not as good as he once was, what with having an Spada Killer and the plus 15 bruiser, but he does have a plus 20 nat link, and his attack is still really high. This Ichigo also has bombardment and a plus 50 bruiser, making a strong attacks and a special not useless. He's also got pretty good range, especially with the full screen strong attack 3, and his attack speed is really high. This character actually held the title of the best character for quite a long time. He's also the main character, so it makes sense that he's on here, though it's still a very big surprise because he is so old.
Dangai 八下の咎めこれが私の残白刀の真の力だ
Coming in at number 2 on the list is Rukia Kuchiki, 1000 Year Blood War Edition, who was one of 2 that I knew for a fact was going to be on this list. She's a 3rd character of the 3-way tie and the highest SP for a speed character, and she's completely immune to freezing, which is a very nice touch from K-Lab, and it lets this character actually be competitive in PvP, as she's manga Toshiro's worst nightmare. In addition to having freeze immunity, she can also inflict debilitating freezing on everything she does, which is nice because her strong attacks can hit multiple times, especially her strong attack 2, which kinda doubles as a vortex similar to Kokuto's. In addition to all of this, her special is also unique. It not only freezes every enemy, but also leaves behind a moving vortex that surrounds her. This deals damage to any enemy that's still around her, and kinda doubles as a 4th strong attack. At the time of this recording, Rukia is the only character to have this ability, and she's also the only character that's completely immune to freezing. I'm not surprised she made it this high up on the list, as I kind of expected her to be either number 1 or number 2 on the list. Psst, you. Yeah, you. If you haven't voted for the top 10 popular tech characters, please click the link in the description below to vote now. Pick your favorite tech character, and I'll make a list just like this one next week. Plus, it's really good for the environment. I'm not saying that clicking the link will solve global warming, but I'm not saying it. That said, here are a few characters that didn't quite make the list but also got a good amount of votes.
さて、配るとしよう。メリークリスマスだ。
これはプレゼントだ。僕と一緒にいよう。ずーっとね。行くわかめ。見たまえ、僕の素晴らしい実験の成果だよ。君にはお似合いさ。
私の優雅な舞をお見せしましょう吸ってください
挽回加点胸骨から松真珠俺にて大詰め締めの段糸切りばさみ血染めの喉笛
And finally, at number 1 is a character that you probably guessed at this point, 1000 Year Blood War Shunsui Kyoraku, who still has my favorite special in the game. It's not only full screen, but it also has the possibility of instantly defeating the opponent, which can come in handy. Shunsui is actually pretty great in just about everything. He's good in PvE as he has really good range, a really high SP, and Frenzy. He can also be good in PvP, because his strong attack 2 has 160 mag, and can do some really heavy damage on characters with poise, though you kinda have to get lucky for that one. Still, that ability is very useful in guild quests. It's kind of an instant boss kill if you know what you're doing. It's also got very good range, giving Shunsui 2 strong attacks with exceptional range. Not only that, he also has a decent attack for a high SP character, and his normal attack is pretty fast. Personally, Shunsui is my favorite captain, and I'm actually glad he made it at number 1. But remember kids, having an eye patch doesn't make you cool, but being the head captain of the 13 Core Guard squads does. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe to the channel and go vote for the tech one. I will do my best to have that out next week and try to spit these out once every week.